I found out my 2-year relationship was a lie. Let me just preface this by saying that in hindsight, there were a lot of red flags and inconsistencies, but because I loved and trusted this person so deeply, he didn't really give me a reason to doubt him at the time. Do I feel hella gullible? Quite. Now on to the story. It's a long one, so please bear with me. I 32F just found out my relationship with my BD 31M, actually 30M, but I'll get to that, has been one big lie. Here's some background before the gut punch. Background: we met at my firstborn school around 2023 and hit it off. The banter was great and we were vibing so well. About 3 weeks after that, we officially enter in a relationship. We went on dates, I'd sleep over at his place on weekends, he got along well with my child and family. Everything looked and felt so good. We then went to a weekend festival together and had the time of our lives. About a week after that, I receive an email from a woman asking if him and I are dating, because he's actually with her, living together, and they had a child who's unfortunately stillborn. Confused, I ask him about him. He tells me it's the ex who lied about paternity for what he thought was their firstborn child, who's the same age as mine. Trusting him, I told him to handle it, and never heard anything about her again after that. A year and some change into our relationship, he starts getting less communicative and distant, which makes us fight more because I feel neglected. In the midst of us trying to work through it, I find out I'm pregnant. We found out together, but his reaction was not at all what I expected. He froze, then asked that I consider all options. Yes, all options. He justified it by saying he was thinking of me, where my finances are and my career taking off, and how it's not the right time. He then left me at home for a few days with no communication. By the time day 3 rolls around, I'd gone from wanting to letting it go to deciding that we're keeping it and we'll figure it out. He said he was happy with my decision, but the actions never showed that. He was always distant at the checkups. The visits to my house became less and less. I was abandoned during most of my pregnancy. He didn't attend the baby shower, which I excused because he'd been working the night before. My family were not impressed. Every time I tried to break it off, he'd beg me to give him another chance, promising that he'd try harder and fight for us, claiming he was working more so he could provide for the OB visits and whatever the baby would need. Needless to say, from month 5, I started paying for my checkups, blood tests, and buying the baby things was now done by myself and my mom. Anything that was bought before the baby arrived, he did not contribute a cent to. Reason: he told some long tale of lending a relative money, and they're not able to pay the debt. Trust me, as I'm typing this, I'm seeing the cracks. A day before I gave birth, he then asks me to ask my mom for help, because his money still hasn't come in. She's furious, but she covers it. The baby is born and his visits are still sparse, and when around, doesn't really give me the help and support I need. The visits range between 1 to 3 hours, 1 to 2 times a week, then disappears for 2 weeks, and the cycle continued. When you're faced with someone's absence more than their presence, that's what you get used to. A month ago, I end our relationship, to which he objects, but emotionally I'm no longer invested. So the next part of the story doesn't hurt as much, but it still made my blood run cold. The actual story: last week I get a phone call from the ex that emailed me. Turns out she's not an ex. They've been in a relationship for 4 years, and have a baby less than a year old. I've been the side chick the entire time. She asks me questions regarding everything in our relationship, to which I answer, even though I'm in a state of shock. Everything I know is built on a lie. From his age, the place we'd sleep in was actually hers. His work, his money, woes, everything. Upon further discovery, he told her that he was using me to get connections that'll help him make money, that I was aware of his relationship with her, and that I was also seeing other guys. I also find out his family knew and covered for him when our families needed to meet to discuss the baby. The same baby he'd told her we'd done a paternity test and are waiting for the results. A few minutes later, I'm then put into a video group call where she berates him for his lies. When she comments about how he told her about waiting for the paternity test, he backpedals and confirms that he is indeed the father. During this time, he's nonchalant and doesn't acknowledge me at all. He just commented on, now that I'm on the call, what must happen? She asks him when was he ever going to tell the truth. He responded with, when the time was right. I left the call shortly after. He tried calling once, to which I didn't answer. After that it was crickets. To say I'm heartbroken is an understatement, but considering I'd mentally already detached, it could have been far worse than if I was still heavily invested. But now I have a baby with this guy. Not sure what advice can be given here, but I just needed an outlet to tell this story. I'm living in a Tyler Perry film. Every memory I have of us happy and in love was all a lie. I don't know how to reconcile everything in my head. Thanks for reading, I guess. Doubt there'll be any updates as I've blocked him indefinitely, and we'll be keeping the baby far away for our protection.